Hey traders, checking in on the Bitcoin and cryptocurrency space. We had a little bit of volatility over the last 12 hours or so as the bears have their only line of defense left, and that is to market sell and try and dump the price. We've seen this pattern before. I'll describe it a bit in more detail. All-time highs are in the picture. We'll see if the bulls can follow through on our long weekend as markets are closed this Friday for Easter. So today we have the S&P 500 hitting all-time highs as the tech sector bulls are taking over in a big way and giving some confidence back into those names. We've also got the dollar here really strong over the last week. And if you're a Bitcoin bull, you're looking at this DXY chart and saying we are positioned really well comparative to the dollar. The dollar has been going up for a couple months at this point, and the fact that Bitcoin has not been slowed down is a great sign because we know any daily consolidation on the dollar or the eventual loss of the daily uptrend can only help the Bitcoin bulls further. So Bitcoin all-time high back in play. And just a straight up bounce from the low. We had the bear break of 53,000, little follow through, and then bulls back in control, and a little bit of steady news flow helping that. We had the Visa bullish news, then we had PayPal bullish news helping fuel the bulls up to these resistances. And the pattern that I'm talking about here, I've talked about it in these videos before, but we have clear resistance, and this pattern has happened a dozen plus times on this bull run, where you have bulls in complete control, a clear resistance level approaching, and in this instance, that level is 60,000, 60.1 thousand, where we topped out, and then we rejected from that level, and that's when we rolled over to the bear break of 53,000. So a lot of price action around that, and we were extended into that resistance test to a certain degree yesterday, but this is the only defense the bears have. Two resistance levels left, 60.1 and then the all-time high, and just market selling into a bull move. You see a bull move. This bull move clears out the order books on the way up, and that allows for the bears to just market sell and flush the price as best they can. And in this instance, it wasn't a very significant flush. It was definitely a notable pullback, but the pattern that you see when you know the bulls are keeping their complete control is you find a bottom on that flush and you don't break to a lower low. And it's just a slow and steady recovery from there. And I don't have any previous examples drawn up here, but again, this happens often in the last 6 months. There's your 30 minutes of bear control, and it was even less than 30 minutes. It was 5, 10, 15, 20 minutes. So 20 minutes of a flush. The bottom was set, and we did not break that level, and it's just been a slow recovery since then. So looking at it on the 4-hour time frame, it is possible we form a 4-hour lower high here and then just tighten up. And in order for that to happen, we would need to see a bear break of 58.8 thousand, confirming a 15-minute downtrend. And it's a little head and shoulders on the 15-minute. So if this 15-minute head and shoulders were to confirm, a 4-hour lower high would be set. And then we would just be looking at a higher low trying to form compared to 56.8 thousand. So essentially just, again, the last line of defense for the bears trying to reject the price, but bulls still buying those dips. The broader market is strong. The dollar has been strong and is now consolidating a little bit. So really there's no major red flags. And we know that even if the bears are successful defending resistance, we have tons of space for a daily higher low to form, anything above 50.3 thousand. And bulls like myself will be looking to buy next daily consolidation. So again, if the bulls go up and break all-time highs, I'm not going to be adding anything, and it's going to require daily consolidation for me to increase my position from here. Dominance chart still not showing us anything, just sideways. ETH/USD made a bull move over the past few days and gained a little bit of strength relative to Bitcoin. Again, it's all about 1944, which is our weekly lower high resistance. If we reject from that level, and if Bitcoin does pull back into daily consolidation without breaking 60, then we're going to tighten up further on this ETH chart. Obviously, the bulls don't want to see that happen, and the next couple of days are going to be very telling. Again, just one more trading day in the stock market world tomorrow with Friday closed. So essentially, it's a long weekend for Bitcoin, with correlations not really having an impact. So all about 1944. And for ETH, it's the low of the dump. So everybody's watching that low of the dump. And ETH already made a bull move to a higher high, which shows me that it's gained some strength against Bitcoin, relatively speaking, in the short term. And if 1771 holds, the bulls keep that complete control. And the ETH BTC chart, we had 1 day of a bull move. You want follow through, prove it with continuation. Higher low and higher high needed for follow through here. And again, you can see the bulls are attempting that daily higher low. And we can see over the last 12 hours, this bounce on ETH is a bit stronger than the bounce on Bitcoin. So bulls have to get over that high of 3179 for a little bull flag and follow through from the 1 bull day. And we know 1 bull day is not enough. It's enough to get our attention, but if you want to prove it, as far as the ETH strength versus Bitcoin, have to break the high of Monday. Theta USDT. I love this example of the spotlight dimming because it's a good one. And I saw the ADA example in hindsight, but this is one that we've been watching live. And it was the Theta USDT bull break, but we did not believe that bull break because the Bitcoin pairing set a lower high. And here is the Bitcoin pairing now confirming a daily downtrend. And Theta is pulling back and looking at daily support of 1148, which held. We're still in a daily uptrend, but again, the strength is fading a bit. The spotlight is fading because the correlation between the Bitcoin and US dollar pairing is fading. So we'll see if that leads to weekly consolidation after such a massive bull run. And the fact that we're pulling back while Bitcoin has been going up is why this BTC chart is pulling back as well. And weekly consolidation on the BTC pairing, not underway yet, as it's just an inside bar, but it definitely looks like it's potentially shaping up. Link USD. So again, I don't really care what the US dollar pairing is doing. I know that it's a weekly equilibrium. That's what matters most to me, trying to set a weekly high or low and weekly inside bar potentially forming. It's the BTC pairing, which is still weak and heading down towards support. So if we break through this and lose this falling wedge, then I don't care about Link anymore, and I'll take my eye off of it. But as long as we have this falling wedge in play, keeping a close eye on the potential that we see a bull break of this pattern, and we see Link try and gain some spotlight again. Link was in the spotlight for a long time on its bull run to all-time highs. The spotlight hits an altcoin. The altcoin sees the Bitcoin and US dollar pairing correlate significantly on big-time bull moves. The BTC pairing starts to fade in that bullish correlation, and then the spotlight dims and we see prolonged consolidation. That happened with Link, it happened with ADA, and now it's potentially happening with Theta. We definitely need more bear follow-through, but we're keeping our eye on it. Binance, big bull move. So Binance 315.29 was resistance. We broke it, but not much follow-through. I would consider that a double top at this point. And again, the flush down impacted most names, and as long as that flush low holds, the bulls are A-okay. So I'm looking at that as a flush low, lower high, and now we're looking for an hourly higher low in this tightening range. But the BTC pairing is what has my attention. 55176 is now, it already was a double top. It's still resistance. If we get over that level, Binance is going to be looking right back up at the all-time high, in my opinion, which is up at 348.70. So Binance has been keeping control this entire sideways consolidation on the weekly time frame. And now they just need that follow through. And it's got to be that Bitcoin pairing getting over 55.17.6 that leads to that follow through, in my opinion. Litecoin still extremely weak. Again, LTC USD. Those who are not familiar with the Bitcoin pairings and knowing how to identify coins that are stronger or not are looking at this chart and saying it's great, it's going up, no big deal. But if you look at the Bitcoin pairing, it shows you your money is way better off being in Bitcoin than it is in being in Litecoin. That being said, keeping an eye on things, because when the daily RSI gets oversold on this Bitcoin pairing, it doesn't happen too often, and when it does happen, it doesn't last long. So just looking back at the last 2 years, keeping an eye for just a short-term oversold bounce. We can see every bounce is just a lower high at this point over the last couple months. So watching for oversold conditions if we're going to get them. But again, it's a prime example of absolute best case scenario for a bear. So bigger picture, in summary, Bitcoin bulls are just fine. There is the potential of a 4-hour lower high being set, but the bears will have to break 15-minute support to try and follow through with that. And at this point, as long as 56.8K holds, we're not going to see any meaningful daily consolidation. If that level is holding, daily consolidation, non-existent. If that level breaks, daily consolidation underway. Scout hourly oversold conditions for potential scale-in entries, but all-time highs certainly remaining on the table as we are right underneath them. So it's going to be an interesting 24, 48 hours from here. All-time high or daily consolidation is going to be the result. Either way, no red flags for the bulls. We would have to see increasing bear volume and a pullback on the daily under 54,000 if we were going to start saying, uh-oh, that's a weekly lower high. So not in the picture at the moment. Congrats to the bulls. Let's see if we can follow through. And I hope you have a good rest of your day. Do good things. See you next time. This is prime time for the magnolia. We've got another frost coming in just a couple days, and these buds will probably start dropping. I let everything from the fall garden and the greenhouse here go to seed, or go to flower at least. The onions are still going, they'll be good. But everything else I'll just let go to flower, and then pull it all up. Probably won't do anything in here until next fall. We've got more mulch to go. It's going to go in the garden. We got to weed the paths. And the soil that's in the paths is going to be real good soil after a few years. And maybe when these beds fall apart, I will move new beds into the paths and swap things out. But that's looking 5+ years down the road. Tulips are starting. I was 6 beers deep and trading on my laptop. Went over the edge. Bad news is I took out a bush. Good news is it was a perennial and I need a place to put a fig tree that's in my room. So that's where it's gonna go. We'll see how I get it out. Can't tow it. We'll update.